Hello, my name is Javier, and I'm the author of Crushing Cancer, available on Amazon.com. And for those of you that know me, you've already heard my story before. Going on 6 years, I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. And I'm talking extensive metastasis, 12 tumors, brain, thoracic spine, lungs, kidneys, adrenals, pancreas, pelvis, lymph nodes. So it truly is a miracle I am alive today. Initially, I was given 3 to 6 months to live, and if I took modern targeted therapies, maybe 1 to 2 years if I was lucky. And again, going on 6 years. And what I wanted to talk to you about today is like, why am I able to speak on this, right? Who am I? Well, a few things. I do have a chemical engineering background, and throughout my life, I've always been an avid reader. I was reading because I enjoy reading, and I've read about Dr. Gerson, who was actually curing cancer just with food alone. Dr. William Coley's, who was using the immune system back in the 1800s to cure cancer. Linus Pauling, IV vitamin C. So I took all this into account, and I read, like I said, just an avid reader. And in the book, it's not just my thoughts. There's actually over 80 scientific references, addressing my protocol. So there's extensive research in there, and I've also, through trial and error, landed on it. And so just to kind of give you a little background on where I'm coming from in my perspective, and why I believe I'm still here today in spite of beating some tremendous odds. And one thing that I want to note, I don't believe it's an either or situation. I believe it's both. My protocol, which I'll get into, and also modern targeted therapies. I don't want to view it as black and white, but also a combination of why I'm still here today. I'll finish off with the modern targeted therapies, but I'll dive into my protocol. And my protocol includes food, specific type of foods, why it's important and why I eat them, fasting, why that is important, and what biological mechanisms are beneficial in the fight against cancer, supplements, what supplements I take and why I take them, exercise, specifically you do cardio or some type of movement to oxygenate the blood and why that's important. And then again, we'll finish off with modern targeted therapies, which is something that you and your oncologist can tackle together. And so let's dive in. Food. Why is food important? First of all, I'll talk briefly about the biology of solid tumors. Solid tumors, their mitochondria is dysfunctional. So little powerhouses that generate energy. Regular cells have mitochondria that produce 30 to 36 energy units, ATPs. Cancer mitochondria, they're dysfunctional. They only produce 2 to 6, 2 to 8, and they have an insatiable appetite for sugar because it's of the uncontrolled cell growth. So they have about 15 times the glucose receptors that normal cells have. So with that being said, and keeping that in mind, I use food to tackle this. What do I use? Keto cruciferous plant-based diet, salad, spinach, kale-based salad. Why cruciferous? Cruciferous foods have sulforaphanes. Sulforaphanes have anti-cancer properties. What are some of the cruciferous families? Broccoli, cauliflower, and of course I go veggies because veggies are low sugar. And in the book you can read a list of all the foods that I make, and I make huge salads. And I do this I eat every day within a 4-hour window. So that leads right into the fasting. Why in the 4-hour window? The body, after not receiving food for about 14, 16 hours, it goes into a process of autophagy. What is autophagy? Well, it's a survival mechanism. The body says, hey, I don't have any nourishment coming in. So for the sake of the organism's survival, I have to protect it. So it looks around and it looks for damaged cells that are consuming and not contributing, and those are the cancer cells. So it consumes and recycles the organelles. So that's autophagy. And also fasting, what does it also do? It lowers blood sugar. which is awesome, right? We talked about how cancer loves sugar, so it lowers blood sugar, which is a big, big plus. And so those are the benefits of fasting. Now, one of the things that I like to do while I'm on a fast is exercise, specifically walking. Or if you can jog, run, do it. Why? Because it burns sugar, it burns energy, and also it oxygenates the blood. Cancer doesn't like oxygen. It uses glycolysis to produce energy versus oxidative phosphorylation, which uses oxygen. So we're hoping to switch that switch back to using oxygen. So that's why I like exercising or doing cardio. For me, it's walking because of my situation, but I do that daily. I try to do that daily. Try to get in at least 20, 30 minutes, even if I break it up into 2 sessions based on what I can do, but it's a must for me. And again, the heart moves blood with the oxygen. Waste doesn't have a motive force. It has to use movement, and that's the limb system. So why I believe walking also is important to help get rid of all that waste from your body, which can contribute, right, to aiding or not helping your body. So get rid of that to help with fighting the cancer. The other thing that I do, these things, by the way, backtrack a little bit, are free. These are all free. You can do these, right? You have to eat, so you have to buy food. One thing that I do also is use supplements. Supplements, the main purpose of them, we talked about blood sugar, so I control blood sugar, lower inflammation. Cancer likes using inflammation to hide, and then a supplement, AHCC, to boost the immune system surveillance. So that way my immune system can look around. It boosts surveillance, and actually used in Japan in conjunction with therapies. And you could read about it in the book, the supplements that I use and why I use them, especially the ones that control, like berberine, to control blood sugar, quercetin, ECGC. So those are some of the supplements that I do use. And I drink tea every day. I drink celery juice because it has anti-cancer properties. Organic celery juice, I buy it, Suja, 48 ounces. Not necessarily something you have to do, but it's something that I do, and I consume it within that 4-hour window. And so we talked about that. And the final one that I want to talk about is the modern targeted therapies. This is where you can get with your oncology team. And I'm fortunate to live near Chicago, where they have a national cancer, they're associated with the National Cancer Institute. I go to Northwestern, and a big shout out to my team there in developmental therapeutics, to Dr. Choi, nurse practitioner Sam, and their staff there. Really, they've been wonderful, and it's just, I'm still here. Huge part of why I'm still here. And one of the modern targeted therapies, it's a trial therapy, which I'm grateful for. It's called XMAB 819. It's actually a T-cell engager. What does that mean? It forces T-cells to actually engage the tumors. And this is what I call the second generation immunotherapies. Previous immunotherapies, you would hope that they uncloak the cancer on your immune system side. This next generation actually forces to physically link to the tumors. So it's pretty awesome. It's great. Last scans, 40% reduction all across the board. It was MRIs. The thing about MRIs, they only show abnormal tissue. They do not show metabolic activity. So the metabolic activity was dropping in the PET scan that I did previous to that. So I will get a PET scan for a few months, and I'm expecting it to have great results, and that will show the metabolic activity. My hope and belief is that it'll be gone. If not, I'll keep doing what I have to do. If I have to extend my fasts, I will, but hopefully I'm gonna stay the course now. So again, grateful to Northwestern for developmental therapeutics and to that team there. And also, I do IV vitamin C and hyperbaric oxygen, and that's a huge shout out here to Integrative Health and Wellness in Crown Point, Indiana. Awesome nurse practitioner, Stacy Taylor, and her right hand, Yessie Arroyo. Really grateful for them. I go there a couple times a week for the hyperbaric oxygen and also the IV vitamin C. So if you live in the area, I would definitely check them out. And again, take a look at the book. You could see the food list, you could see the protocol, and what I do and what I've done to stay alive. I hope to get rid of this soon, and I hope you get the book, take a read, and help yourself. Again, it's not either or, it's both. And you have a big role and big part in what you could do to help yourself to get past cancer and hopefully one day be free of it. I believe it's on the horizon for me, especially with the modern targeted meds and me doing my part. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I wish you the best. Thank you.